Are you or anyone else in danger right now?
No.
I don't know, sir. Stop.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. I can't breathe correctly because...
He was 23 years old, unarmed, walking home from a convenience store. Within minutes, he was thrown to the ground, restrained, and injected with ketamine. 3 days later, Elijah McLean was dead. The officers said he was acting suspicious. They claimed he resisted, but the body cam footage? It tells a different story. "I'm just different," Elijah said as he gasped for air. "I'm sorry, I don't have a gun. I don't do that stuff." And yet, no one listened. Elijah McLean lived in Aurora, Colorado, a quiet, quirky young man who played the violin for shelter cats on his days off. He was a massage therapist, a vegan, sensitive to the world in ways most people didn't understand. He wore a ski mask often, not to hide anything, but because he had anemia and got cold easily. People in his neighborhood knew him. He was harmless, gentle, kind. But on the night of August 24, 2019, a stranger called 911. The caller said Elijah looked sketchy, that he was waving his arms and wearing a mask. But they also said, "He's not armed. I don't think he's dangerous."
He looks sketchy. He might be
Okay.
a good person or a bad person.
Yeah. Were any weapons involved or mentioned?
No.
Police responded anyway. Within seconds of arriving, Elijah was stopped, grabbed, taken to the ground. "I'm an introvert," he pleaded. "I'm just different. That's all. I'm sorry."
No, I am an introvert. Please respect the boundaries that I am speaking. Stop. Leave me alone.
No, we're gonna talk to
You
you.
guys started to arrest me, and I was stopping my music to listen.
He wasn't fighting. He was panicking. One officer would later admit he thought Elijah might be on drugs. But no drugs were found. Another said he felt threatened, though Elijah never raised a fist. As officers restrained him, Elijah vomited, cried out in pain, struggled to breathe. "My name is Elijah McLean, and I was just going home."
Fighting us on the ground. My name is Elijah McLean.
We had to use carotid.
That's what I was doing. I was just going home.
It didn't matter. The paramedics arrived minutes later. They didn't speak to Elijah. They didn't assess him. They injected him with a powerful sedative, ketamine. Elijah went into cardiac arrest. 3 days later, he was declared brain dead. His family made the decision to remove him from life support. No crime had been committed. No weapon was found. No one involved was immediately charged. Elijah McLean's mother, Shanine, was devastated. She didn't hear the full story from the police. She heard it from the hospital. "They told me my son had been in an altercation," she later said. "But I knew Elijah. He wouldn't hurt anyone." When she finally saw the body cam footage, she broke down. Her son, soft-spoken, compliant, begging for help, crying, and not once did anyone show him compassion. The officers involved claimed Elijah was resisting, that he had superhuman strength. He was going crazy, one report said. He had incredible strength, we couldn't hold him. But medical experts would later point out, Elijah was already restrained when paramedics arrived. He wasn't a threat, he was in distress. Elijah never regained consciousness. He was declared brain dead 3 days later. His family said goodbye in a hospital room filled with grief and questions. He was innocent, his mother said. He was scared. He was trying to survive. At first, the story didn't make national news. It was local. Another tragic encounter brushed under the rug. The officers were placed on temporary leave, but no charges were filed. The case was quietly closed. But in 2020, everything changed. As protests erupted nationwide after the killing of George Floyd, Elijah's name resurfaced. Social media exploded. Justice for Elijah began trending. He played violin for shelter cats, one post said. He apologized while he was dying. Why is no one in jail?
I don't know, sir. Stop.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. I can't breathe correctly because...
Over 5 million people signed a petition demanding the case be reopened. Celebrities spoke out. Lawmakers took notice. The governor of Colorado appointed a special prosecutor to review the case. Finally, after more than a year, a grand jury indicted 3 officers and 2 paramedics. It was one of the rare moments in American history where the system moved, not because it wanted to, but because the public wouldn't stay silent. In September 2021, over 2 years after Elijah McClain's death, a Colorado grand jury finally announced charges. 2 paramedics, 3 police officers, all indicted for their roles in Elijah's death. Manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, assault. It was a historic move, rare, uncomfortable, and long overdue. The charges didn't bring Elijah back, but for the first time, his family felt seen. Now he can finally rest, his mother said through tears. We're not done, but this is a start. Each defendant pleaded not guilty. Their attorneys claimed they followed protocol, that they couldn't have known Elijah had a medical condition, that the force used was reasonable, that the ketamine wasn't their decision. But the footage told a different story, and so did the timeline. For 18 minutes, Elijah was restrained, pinned, panicked. He vomited. He said he couldn't breathe.
I can't breathe. This is the same thing that Eric Garner said. This is the same thing that George Floyd would say. This refrain, I can't breathe, is not only a desperate cry for help.
And no one checked his pulse. No one offered care. No one stopped the injection. Instead, officers laughed. One said Elijah was definitely on something. Another said, he just went crazy out of nowhere. But Elijah wasn't crazy. He was scared, and he was slowly dying, in plain sight.
That's what I was doing. I was just going home.
He's begging for his life. He's saying things like, I'm a pacifist, I'm a vegetarian, I don't have guns, I don't do those kinds of things.
I don't judge people for anything.
The lawsuit filed by Elijah's family revealed even more. It showed failures at every level. Officers who ignored training, paramedics who never performed a basic assessment, a city that had no system to check doses or review body cam footage in real time. And beyond that, a community that had almost let it go. If the video hadn't gone viral, if people hadn't spoken Elijah's name. And that's exactly what his mother did. What millions of people did, together. The trials didn't come quickly. They came slowly, quietly, and with no guarantees. But one by one, the courtroom doors opened. And one by one, the truth was finally heard.
The high-profile trial continues for the current and former Aurora police officers who were involved in the death of Elijah McClain. Taking the stand today, another officer who responded to the scene that night.
In 2023, Officer Randy Rodema was convicted of criminally negligent homicide and third-degree assault. He was sentenced to 14 months in jail. Another officer, Jason Rosenblatt, was found not guilty. So were the 2 paramedics, despite the ketamine injection. Elijah's family was devastated again. The sentences felt light, the acquittals painful. But they didn't see it as the end. This was never just about punishment, Elijah's mother said. It was about acknowledgement, that my son's life mattered. In total, only 1 officer served time. The others walked free. But outside the courtroom, Elijah's name kept echoing. Murals were painted. A violin vigil was held in Aurora, the same city where he died. Thousands gathered. They lit candles, played the violin in his honor, cried for a man most of them had never met. He apologized while he was dying, one attendee said. If that doesn't break your heart, nothing will. Elijah McClain wasn't famous. He didn't have a platform. He didn't fight back. He just existed, quietly, lovingly, and it wasn't enough to keep him safe. But his story, his voice, sparked something that couldn't be undone. Laws were changed, ketamine protocols were reformed, and cities across the U.S. began reviewing their own first responder procedures. His death saved lives, but that doesn't make it right. Elijah should be here, his mother said. He should be playing his violin, going to work, laughing. Instead, we remember him in videos, in hashtags, in protests, and in a quiet, painful truth that justice doesn't always come easy. Sometimes it doesn't come at all, but that doesn't mean we stop asking for it. My name is Elijah McClain. I was just going home. Let that echo. What do you think happened to Elijah McClain? Why did it take so long for the system to listen? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.